But this 100 million jobs, 70% from rural, is achievable, and we should work towards that.
So Dr. Mitta, for all of you who don't know Dr. Mitta, he is already on this journey. He is ex-CTO for Wipro. He's created this company called Next Wealth, and long before we said that we need to create rural jobs on a regular basis in such forums, he went about doing it. And I have had the pleasure of interacting, seen their quality of work. They have a very unique model where he assures quality based on people present in the city. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Mitta. But the jobs are being executed by folks in tier 2 cities. I'm sure your intent is to go beyond also, and maybe you already have. But this is a journey started maybe 10 years ago, Dr. Mitta? Yeah. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you very much, sir. Wonderful one. I'm Dr. Sridhar, Vice Chancellor of Hindustan University from Chennai. Basically, my concern is nowadays, I think starting from the parents to all the students of +2, they think that they should learn AI so that they get a better job. But how many of us or how many of these institutions are well prepared, or how many of faculty have been well trained by themselves or have been trained by the institution to reach the level of industry? And what industry role actually could be, I mean, what industries could be playing a role here, because the output of these universities are the input to the industries.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I have had the good fortune of working with some brilliant youngsters. So I have full confidence in the output of the university coming out. Not 100%, how much? 15 million engineers are being created, 1.5 million. What is it, Shekhar? 1.5 million, sorry, I got my order of magnitude wrong. So 1.5 million engineers, I don't think all of them are going to be straight away useful. So we put in a lot of filters, but I get really good quality. But the important thing is this, there is good quality output coming out of Indian universities. Second is, everybody doesn't have to be an engineer, right? You can be a diploma holder and have a lot of value, and as corporations, we need to ensure that we are paying that respect to technicians, right? IET stands for that. IET is about engineers, but also about technicians. And then about from a quality of education and how we are doing, I'm on 2 board of studies. One is for Amrita University, and that's AI part of it, and Sriram is here, Dr. Sriram, he is my classmate and also the head of engineering college here at, in Bangalore, and also with Christu Jayanti College. And I'm telling you, there is a lot of keen attention being provided to the syllabus, and they're doing a great job in my view. They're taking industry inputs. So I am providing the inputs. I'm sure others are providing inputs in other colleges. So we are doing all the right things. The one place where industry should do better is provide more internships, create opportunities like cooperative training, which is much more than an internship. And with that exposure, the quality of people that we have in India, the contributions that we make to the overall engineering world will just be awesome.
Hello.
Yeah. Whoever has the mic, can you get the mic next to him? Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah. Whoever has the mic, and then please pass on the mic.
First of all, many congratulations and kudos, standing ovation to wonderful presentation that you gave.
Thank you.
And the very motivating talk. We usually don't get to listen such talks every day. I'm Abhijit Sinha, I'm National Program Director of Ease of Doing Business. My question is very small and very short, that you look at G20 presidency this year, and we today also look at an Indian person on the IET presidency. The last declaration of Delhi, which brought all aspects of what we have been talking about, Indian technical and economic and other fields of development and aspects, brought together on the global forum, and it was very well recognized by the other parts of the world and globe also. Where do you see India going with the same year having also data protection bill coming in, and obviously the ease of doing business? Any prescription for bringing these technologies in more commercial manner and mass deployment?
No, thank you. So here's the leader for ease of doing business asking such questions. I think we have reached a great place. Thank you for being here and also asking these questions. I think these technologies from an ease of doing business standpoint, if there is the willpower, which today, in today's government we do have, I think will play a significant role. We can look at various things like where things are not moving quickly enough, and that can be done with any digital technology. But we can also analyze where the issues are genuine, at least estimate, and where the issues can be handled by coaching the people who are involved. So ease of doing business, I think, can leverage significantly digital first, and then AI technologies. Where India is headed, and it's a responsibility that we all have. India will not move unless we all put in these efforts, is to a place where obviously we, without much effort, are the most populous country in the world, right? So, but that gives us a demographic dividend, and that gives us a spending young population who are creative and willing to take on the world with spirit. So, where we are headed with India is the ability to garner this, harness this energy and make the world a better place. Make the world, and from a sustainability standpoint, Shekhar, you spoke about it, and I hope more companies sign up to the promise. From a sustainability standpoint, we have a way of thinking. Long before we were talking about sustainability, Gandhi said, and I will quote, that the world has enough for everybody's need, not for everybody's greed. And we are far from going, traveling from that greed to that need, right? So I will restate it in a technical forum differently, and I'll say that no amount of technology can compensate for irresponsible human behavior, right? Thank you. So as a country, if we can take that message, tie it with the wonderful demographic dividend that we have, and bring engineering to it, I think we will be able to play the role that we should with the kind of population that we have, and the fact that we will be the place where much of the growth will be happening.
Good evening, sir. This is Vimal Chaube, Secretary of IET Mumbai Local Network.
So could you stand up?
Yeah. Hello, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
please come a little forward.
Yeah.
And next maybe we can have you speak. Yeah.
Yes, sir. This is Vimal Chaube, Secretary of IET Mumbai Local Network, working as a data engineer in Tata Croma. So as you rightly said that, sir, we have many diversities in language, as well as there are many aspects in which we have a lot of data in diverse in nature from Indian perspective. And coming to the AI part, so to make our own LLM models, nowadays, whoever is good in AI or computer science, they are going to abroad or developed countries, and they are getting lucrative packages there, and they are working there. So as a IET, at least on a volunteer level, how can we reach to our talent and stay them in India and work on the LLM models or the AI algorithms to solve the problem of India?
Yeah.
And what IT can play in that? What role IT can play in that?
Yeah, no, thank you for the most difficult question. But I'll tell you this. Ashish Vaswani, does that ring a bell to anybody? Ashish Vaswani. Yeah? So he is the first author on this paper called Attention is All That You Need. And that is the fundamental paper on which all the generative AI that we are talking about, all the work that OpenAI did, and all the work that Sam Altman is going about talking about and saying India can't do it, all that work is built on this one paper written by multiple people. But if you look at that list, it is global. There's nobody left out. So we need to think globally and make sure that we are collaborating globally as we think about India large language models also. But what IET can do is actually think about what is that small voice that we can have to the government and to the industry. It's only the matter of getting the $10 billion. $10 billion, Microsoft alone, one investment. That's not the only investment that they made. That was one investment that they made in the recent times to OpenAI. That was one company. Multiple companies have invested in OpenAI, and you can imagine that that is what, and it's good. It's good that they did that. It's good that they invested in the right company and they have made such a huge difference in this world of AI. But where can we get that $10 billion? Okay, we are in India, so I will live with $2 billion. Can we get $2 billion? Can IET lobby for that $2 billion from the industry, from the government? That's the thing that we have to do. Shekhar? I'm with you. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, thanks a lot for that amazing presentation. I'm Dr. Kumudini Ravindra. I want to take this away from AI. You were talking about engineers, and this is happening at a global scale. We are losing engineers in the core domains. As much as we need engineers in AI and computer science, don't you think we are doing a gross injustice to all the other domains? And how do we address this? Yeah. And especially in India, where every parent is now after, getting their kids into computer science or AI and ML, right? Don't you think that is one challenge? The other thing, your very first slide about power and everything, about doubling up. One point you had made was about mindful change. Yeah. I think I just want to highlight that simply because it's also a question of asking ourselves, is this something that we really need? Because somewhere I think along the way we've forgotten, just because technology exists, we are using it. So 2 questions, one, core domain, yeah. And second, mindful change should also ask that relevant question, which is, do we really need this in the first place? Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Professor Kumudini. So let me address that mindful development and mindful change aspect. So you're absolutely right. What do we need? And if you take 2x, double, what we will be able to provide is a minimum standard of living to our citizens. Not the people in this room, but you know who I'm talking about, right? You go out of this facility and you dare walk on the roads and you will see who I'm talking about. In order to provide the jobs, today our workforce, the amount of people who are eligible to work and people who are working, the ratio is abysmally low, right? It is some 35%, 40%, right? And so we need to create those jobs. In order to be able to create those jobs, we need to be able to double in each one of these areas, right? So, and also the women workforce. Women workforce are not tapped at all. Now, if they all start coming in, which they should, then where from are we going to get the jobs? Those jobs will have a cost in terms of energy. They will have a cost in terms of agriculture, productivity. We need more output. And so what I'm asking for, and I'll give you the numbers. India, per capita electricity usage is 1,100 units, right? The world average electricity usage is 3,250 units. And China is slightly below that at 2,000 plus, right? And US, and Mustafa talked in a different unit, but I'll talk from a electricity consumption unit, is the US is about 12,000. And then you have the Nordic countries at 50,000 units, right? That's because of a smaller population. So let's leave the outliers out. But when I say go from 1,000 to 2,000 units, that is not asking and that's not being greedy. That is saying that those folks who are there out there, and if I need to provide them the minimum standard of living, this is what I need, right? So that is mindful development. If we want to match up, then we need to go much higher, right? So this ask of doubling is only for creating for my fellow citizens a minimum standard of living. Now, core domains. See, AI is not a domain in my view. AI should be across all domains, right? So I am an electrical engineer, I'm an electronics engineer in particular, and my domain will not change. And if I only know AI, That's like computer science, it's okay. But as an engineer, I've always been able to look at digital, IT, so it becomes a mandate. Just like we're no longer using slide calipers to draw, we will have to use AI in all our jobs, in leadership, in engineering, in creative work. If we are not using this now, we will fall behind. So I would suggest we shouldn't be shy of AI. We should bring AI into every domain. And in fact, you have heard about prompt engineering. So what is prompt engineering? Prompt engineering is the ability to take a domain knowledge and ask it to give us an output based on, let's say, 80% knowledge that we are providing. So the best prompt engineers are not going to be AI people. They are going to be domain people. Yes.
My name is S.S. Murthy. I am a former professor of IIT Delhi, and also former director of NIT Suratpal and former vice chancellor of Central University. Kumudini had already asked the question what I wanted to ask, but you have already answered. Being in engineering education for nearly 50 years, I feel the concern is about the unnecessary negligence of core engineering areas, mainly by students and also by the administrators, etc. I think the future sustainable technology has to be happy blend of core engineering and these useful tools of AI, ML, etc. Now, I wanted your suggestion with all your experience. It appears as of now in ground realities we are in a crisis because the many engineering colleges are winding up these core engineering branches. There are no takers for electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, civil engineering, including electronics to some extent. Therefore, this is a crisis. So I think we should, as sort of people in engineering and technology, we should find a solution to this and towards that. I just wanted your inputs into this.
No, I think there are folks here from Manipal University. Are you still around? And yeah, please. Can I ask you whether, what are you facing? Then we can respond. Are you winding down core subjects? No, can somebody provide the mic, please? Yeah.
Our core numbers have come down, but we are not planning to close any of them.
They have come down.
Yes.
So, and do you consider it a crisis?
Not at present, but it looks like that.
Yeah. No, thanks for pointing this out. Actually, I wouldn't know it unless you have pointed it out. And there is confirmation from an independent university. So I do agree with you completely that we need to see there is one aspect which is what is the market asking for. And so the universities will cater to what the market is asking for in terms of the engineering output. But there is also a responsibility academic institutions have to ensure that we are protecting the future of engineers, because on a short-term basis, industry might have a love for a particular discipline. If each time that happens, we change our engineering curriculum, we are doing a disservice. So definitely a place and IET should make sure that we continuously talk about AI as an enabler across disciplines, but the disciplines have to be important. Thank you. I am sure I'm running out of time, but there might be other questions. Yeah. And BK, you can go next. Or Tulsi has the mic, you should. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Gopi, thanks. First of all, congratulations. My question is, you have been in the research and technology and you led the John F. Filch Technology and also Tata. And what I would like to ask is, what is your plans as president and also IET in translating the research that happens in India, even though R&D spend is very little? Is there a role for getting more deep tech startups, really the hardware deep tech startups that will propel the country forward?
Yeah. So from standpoint of IET and my term, Tulsi, we have to look at it like this, that IET is an organization which is 150 years old, and presidents will come and presidents will go. But IET has to have a continuum in what they're trying to accomplish. From a standpoint of startups and making sure that we are engaging with startups, and in India, I know that Shekhar and team have a strong agenda. It can be strengthened. Happy to take your inputs on how we can do better. And also from a standpoint of university R&D and how do we make sure that we do both ways, which is from a being in the academic world, we might think that this is excellent research and all our research needs to find its way into the industry. And being in the industrial world, we might be of the opinion that our work requires only global global research, which IISc produces, right? So there needs to be this intersection and much more, and I have put it on my slides also, that we need much more industry, government, and academic interactions. Happy to leverage. I know you are a person full of energy. IISc is the research organization not only for Bangalore but for India. So happy to look at what we can do together as IET and take it to the next level. Yeah. VK, you had a sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Shall I? Hi, I'm Prabhu.
Hi, Prabhu.
Thanks for the great insights on the AI and how it is shaping up and what's India's role to play with it. But at the same time, looking at, we have been a software nation for decades now. Now, I think for geopolitical reasons, or now is the time for even to push the hardware, which is in terms of the beta fabs, or even in terms of building electronic products out of India. So how does IET, does IET have support, or how can it help for hardware startups or sort of companies that are starting up?
Yeah. So IET has its, Prabhu, right, you said? And Prabhu, who are you with, or what's your interest in hardware? Right. Yeah, thank you. So IET has its roots as an electrical engineering institute. So from a standpoint of the heavy electricals as well as the electronics and hardware that you're talking about, I think there is a strong interest, there is a strong body of expertise, global body of expertise, which can contribute as India makes its journey forward. I'll tell you what India needs to do in terms of being able to go on this journey. See, the ability to set up a fab needs an ecosystem. Again, from an ability to set up an ecosystem, typically it needs a market. And from an ability to address the market, it needs that quality aspects, right? But I'll go bottom up. You need clean water. You need a lot of energy for being able to do that. Clean water is also not about clean water, it's about energy, right? Because you don't have clean water in nature, you have to produce clean water. For states which are saying that we are surplus electricity, it's something that they should actually avoid if they want to make progress. Nobody in India is surplus electricity. No state in India is in surplus electricity. If you want to create a fab, right? If you want to create a fab, we are way short of electricity. We do not have the ecosystem. We have to build it. So we need to, and I standing here or IET can only be part of a larger discussion to think about what is the ecosystem required to ensure long-term success for hardware products coming out, including all the way down to the fab level that you are asking for. The good thing is that the government is interested. They have identified this as an area. Groups like the Tata Group have taken an initiative and they're setting up iPhone manufacturing, for example, out of India. But that should be only the starting point. If we become the iPhone manufacturers and that's it, then we will not be happy. You will not be happy.
Shall I?
Gopi.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll come next.
So since we are running short on time, last two questions. Huh?
Yeah, so one and there is one more person.
First of all, Gopi.
Okay, let Shekhar. Yeah, no, you go ahead.
Okay, good. So, first of all, Gopi, congratulations on your presidency.
Thank you.
Comes at a great time as we stand at the cusp of a revolution that's going to be truly transformative with AI. You touched upon ethics.
And one of the things with AI as opposed to previous revolutions, right, the industrial revolution, whatever, is that it can truly kind of disrupt who we are as a society, the structures that have been carefully built up. Of course, with previous batches of losers and previous batches of winners. So as you talk to ethics, and as you spoke about that as being the focus of the presidency as you look ahead, just more comments on that, would love to hear that.
No, thanks. So there are two broad aspects of ethics that I want to focus on the limited time that I will have as president, but it will continue in terms of the discussion. One is around data, one is around the output that AI will produce. So one aspect of AI ethics is to look at the end use. And if the end use is such that it doesn't meet the norms of the other aspects of ethics. For example, not to create an ability to bias a process, right? And it is easier to fix a bias in AI and data than in humans, right? Because you can go and identify that bias, and you can go and look at the data as to where that bias is coming from, and you can fix that bias. Whereas in humans, it's more difficult. So if you're using AI for an interview process and looking at screening resumes already being done, and you're not looking at fixing biases, you will end up getting biased outcomes. And even without knowing it, the shortlisted resumes will already leave out people because it's used the data which has not been treated, right? So that's one aspect of how to look at the output of AI and making sure that we are thinking about it correctly. But the output of AI and making sure that the impact is not negative more readily comes across when you're trying to identify, let's say, the ethnicity of some person captured on a video, and you know this has happened, and then use certain policies only targeting them, right? So these the globe has to sign up that they will have regulations that will make this criminal to be able to do this, right? Because you can do this now. I can do it. So if I can do it, you can do it. So that's one aspect on looking at what is AI being trained for and making sure that that is ethical, right? The other aspect is the data itself. And data, there is a significant amount of discussion around it, but not complete yet. So I mentioned one aspect, which is fairness of payment. So I can give somebody a wearable and say, you please put on this wearable, and you can keep the wearable as your fee, and the data will come to me. I will tell you that if I go to rural India today, people will be falling all over to get that wearable because it will also tell the time. But I am getting data dead cheap, right? Is it fair? And that person will wear that wearable for 3 years. I'll get 3 years worth of data dead cheap without paying anything to that individual. There's no regulations also stopping me from doing that. So this is not fair, right? So we have to think ahead, like you said, that this is a new set of issues that we have to actually proactively think and address. So I'm just giving you a flavor, but happy to discuss offline. Thank you, BK. Sure. I can hear you, but yeah. I can hear you.
Thank you for the wonderful presentation. I'm Amit Anandpara from Innoplexis. I have a very simple question. I felt very excited, sir, when you actually showed that one of the 3 industries or paradigms which will get impacted positively because of AI is going to be life sciences. And I belong to that industry, and that's why my question. In my company, we're trying to accelerate the drug discovery and development to find the therapies for the patient sooner than ever. Yeah. In that pursuit, what we have seen that getting access to the real world evidence across the globe is of paramount importance as well as a major limitation. There is no consistent governance around that data globally. You go to Europe, you have GDPR. In India now we are talking about DPDP. But without the real world evidence, the research on life sciences is going to be limited to that extent. So the way UK has taken the initiative of triggering a debate around regulating AI usage, what can India do to regulate the usage of data in a very legitimate and transparent way?
Yeah. So you have, I'm sure, seen the Safe AI outcomes from UK, and what it is looking to do is provide a framework for a future framework, right? So it is not that things are cast in stone, because there is acknowledgement that things are evolving, and so the 28 countries, including India, which signed up, have signed up to say that we will play a role as governments in ensuring that we are thinking about the safety aspects of AI. Now, what you are asking about is accessibility of data and making it much more available. And let's look at it this way, that during COVID, for example, there was significant data which was available, for example, to differentiate between COVID patients and pneumonia patients. That data came from Canada. And similarly, there are databases which are there all over the world. The only place which has huge population and we did not contribute to the database was India. So I think that we need to, in India, look at what are the databases that we need to create to make data inclusive, which means that if I'm using data which is not pertinent to the Indian subpopulation, I might be looking at the wrong set of diseases even to focus research on. Whereas my ladies have anemia, the women in India have anemia, I am focusing on something else which is somebody else's problem. Not that it doesn't exist here, but more an issue of anemia needs to be addressed. But we will not talk about it because globally people are talking about something else, right? So I think that we have that responsibility to create those databases using the right, and you are doing it in your company, using the right approvals, making sure that we are taking consent from the individuals, telling them what we are going to use the data for, how long we are going to use it, where we are going to store it. If that purpose changes, we go back to them. This is the approach that we need to take. But we need to take a conscious decision that the government hospitals and the government aided hospitals like Tata Memorial, there is so much data. Let's curate it and make it available, right? That's part of that 100 million jobs. Thank you.
So shall I, sir?
Yeah.
So I am Rajkumar, Dr. Rajkumar. I'm from SRM. Thank you, sir. I'm a secretary of Chennai Local Network. On behalf of Secretary Chennai Local Network, I am congratulating you, sir. And also, how many of here are academicians? Please raise your hands. Okay. On behalf of them also, I am speaking now. Now, actually, innovation is a compulsory. So we have to publish 4 papers per academic year and 2 patents. It's a compulsory right now. As a assistant professor is the most difficult job, especially in a computer science. Because, okay, since I have moved from the industry to academy, I just enjoy my career as an academician, but I'm thinking now move again to the industry. Because the thing is, okay, I am successful because as you are a good presenter, you have a very good presentation style, and you have been successful in your career. The same way, like me, and I'm just speaking about the academicians, they are not much good presenter, because every presentation should be good in the classroom. Okay, then only the students get inspired. They have to be an innovator, they have to be a decision maker, they have to be a kind of in-person, there will be a good inspiration in that. So as a IET, I just want to maybe a request, so please inspire the academician like us, so give any kind of maybe 1 or 2 weeks of training in their presentation skill to improve their credibility on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Well done. We'll take that input. Yeah. So thank you everyone for making it so interactive. Thank you.